with his outlook is Thru The Cycle president John Lonski, who's probably better than any economist you can talk to about these things. Good to have you here, John. Got a big number coming out on Friday, the jobs number. Now, jobs, that surplus of jobs, kind of a hangover from the pandemic, has buffered us from the full effects of a recession, right? So, I mean, how much longer will that happen, do you think, before jobs get eaten up by recession?
According to myself and others, not much longer. You know, I just got hold of a consensus forecast for jobs in 2023. This is by way of Bloomberg. According to the average forecast supplied to Bloomberg, payrolls will decline by 33,000 jobs per month on average in 2023.
Wow.
That is after growing by 374,000 on average in 2022.
So that would wipe out all of those increases. 2023 could wipe it out if we come down.
We're moving backwards, right. We'll end up with a level of employment that will be less than where we were at the start of the pandemic.
Wow.
So this is an ugly-looking number. They're talking about a percentage point increase in the unemployment rate, now at 3.7, approaching, say, 5% by the end of 2023.
By the way, even beyond just the raw job numbers, there's also the question of the quality of work that we're getting. Productivity is way down. That is, output per worker has decreased dramatically in the United States. That's inflationary, by the way, so that you have to fit that into the mix as well.
Yeah, you know, that's despite a near record 45% of those employed possess at least a bachelor's degree. And if I go back 30 years...
Actually, that might be part of the problem.
That might be a problem. With that ratio was only 27%. You would think with more education, we would have faster labor productivity. Instead, we're getting the opposite. And then we also have a change in attitudes towards work among younger people. They simply are not that ambitious. I don't know what they're thinking. I think they're dreamers of some sort.
Well, again, they come out of the past few years where they have been so much in demand, they've never experienced a tight job market before.
Right. And they probably spent a lot of time in college learning their pronouns as opposed to learning how to do statistics, mathematics, read and write well.
There's another problem with the young Gen Z, which is 18 to 25. The youngest people are in some debt problems. 1 out of 5 of those people not only have credit card debt, but they're in collection. So they're having trouble paying off their debt right now.
Yeah, you know what's going to happen, of course, is we're going to have fewer jobs, and that's going to make it more difficult to repay outstanding debt among young people and consumers in general. We did find with all of these special government programs that somehow delayed, postponed the repayment of debt, I think we have a false sense of security regarding consumer credit quality. And that may fade fairly quickly once jobs growth gives way to jobs contraction.
Then you have the Omni bill, which another $2 trillion, more or less $2 trillion spending bill, which is going to be inflationary. That puts more pressure on the Fed to keep rates high, which means a tougher recession.
Yeah, there's really no need for this additional fiscal stimulus. I mean, after all, we're in a situation where recently 10 million job openings, 6 million unemployed. We have far more job openings than the number of workers to fill these openings. And this omnibus bill will only have the effect of putting additional upward pressure on wages. Yeah. And of course, that's going to add to inflation.
If we get a recession, that also means less revenue for the government, which means bigger debts and deficits. And that means more payments that we have to make for those debts that we're selling to the world. So that's a problem as well.
Yeah, the scary thing here is the U.S. government may be squandering financial flexibility by taking on all this debt. There may be at some point in the future some crisis, some deep recession that calls for a big increase in government borrowing and spending to go ahead and take care of that problem. And who knows, it is not going to be forever that foreigners are going to be willing to buy U.S. Treasury debt at relatively low yields.
In 10 seconds, any silver lining to these clouds?
The only silver lining for investors is, you know what? We do have a recession. And the recession itself brings about a needed correction of all these imbalances we have in the U.S. economy. Housing becomes more affordable, unfortunately, because of home price deflation. Mortgage yields go down, and then we put ourselves on the road to sustained growth. So the way to a sustained recovery must go through a recession.
John Lonski, great to see you. Thanks
Same
so
here,
much.
David.